would like to read as a past president of the organization. And it's just a little story from the ferry to everyone here. It's been nearly 4 years since the news reports about the ending of my storied history. And it's almost 4 years since I've continued to operate in large part due to the yeoman efforts of so many people in Jacksonville and Nassau County. But most importantly, the Keep the Ferry Crusade and the establishment of the St. Johns River Ferry Commission. I've been crossing the St. Johns River for 66 years now. Most of you know my lineage, beginning with the FDOT in 1950, then with the city of Jacksonville after FDOT funding was cut. After many years, the city of Jacksonville decided that the cost of my river crossing no longer fit budgetary plans and asked Jacksport to assume ownership in 2007. But sadly, after a few years, I became the stepchild that required too much attention, and Jacksport announced plans to stop operations. This is when I met my ferry godmother and her team of citizen activists that rallied around the need of my crossings to people on both sides of the river. Elaine Brown and her team of friends initiated a Keep the Ferry rallying call that could not be ignored. Citizens rose to say that Mayport, Fort George, and the barrier islands would suffer economically should Florida's segment of State Road A1A become the only break in the coastal link from Maine to Key West. This Keep the Ferry group went so far as to hold a festival named Ferry Fest to call attention to the issue. U.S. Representative Andrew Crenshaw, State Senator Aaron Bean, State Representative Janet Atkins, along with Beach's mayors and city councilmen, spoke in support of Keep the Ferry. The crowds were large and in agreement with continuing my regular crossings. Legislation was offered by Councilman Bill Gulliford and approved by the City Council, creating the St. Johns River Ferry Commission. Its chair has been Councilman, now Vice President of the Council, John Cressenden, along with 6 citizen activists, all from the Keep the Ferry community effort, now a nonprofit called Friends of the St. Johns River Ferry. Work was begun in fighting for survival and improving service provided to riders. A new fare structure was followed up by introduction of the Ferry Ambassador Program to meet and greet riders on weekends, and the Jack's Ferry application, detailing my schedule, fare, and whereabouts at any time. Chairman Cressenden led the commission through the past 3 years with one goal: keeping the ferry for future generations. And he and his team have succeeded. Operations fundings have been secured for a significant period. Significant capital funding has already been greatly improving the infrastructure that supports my river crossings. Today, my future rests with the Jacksonville Transportation Authority that officially adopted me March 31st, 2016. Since that date, they have shown incredible support for my well-being and that of my riders. I look forward to the future, but I will always look back on these past 3 years with a deep affection for those who worked so hard to see that the St. Johns River Ferry will be around for generations of locals and visitors to cross this great river. Looking forward to fair winds and following seas. Thank you, the St. Johns River Ferry. That was written by Rich Reddick, who could not be here. Apparently, he sat and listened and wrote it dutifully down so that I could read it.
Thank you very much. That was very nice, and we miss Rich today. Wish he could be here.